Good afternoon, garden friends. Today's video is going to be a reflection of the transformation of my secret garden. This is probably one of my most favorite transformations that we have done in our garden area that has brought us so much joy. So sit back and relax, and I hope you enjoy seeing this 2-year transformation of my secret garden. This is the area that we're going to be working on today. We got like 4 tons of gravel that we are going to put down in this area, so you don't have to worry about cutting the grass, because you know this is on the hill, and I think it'll just make it look so much nicer having the gravel in here. Now my husband is dumping the gravel and I'm spreading it out. Looks so nice. This will be a project that we will more than likely have done today, and then be able to work on the arbor and possibly get my heirloom climbing roses planted today. Okay, it is all finished with the gravel put in, and it just makes it a whole lot more level. It just looks so nice. We're gonna go ahead and get the arbor put together, secured. Oh, let me see. I need to be consistent on how I got these screws. Turn this around. There we go. Use the screws that they provided. Okay. There is one archway that's done. Okay. All right. Second arch is done. That's gonna look so nice and okay. Do you see what I've done? The slats need to be on the same side, and I don't have them on the same side, so I'm gonna have to disconnect this. So here is my arbor and my 2 boxes that today I'm gonna go ahead and get the soil put in and get my heirloom climbing roses planted in, and then I got some perennials that I'm gonna fill in around the box. I got some peppermint star dysanthemums, which I think will look really nice in here. I am done with planting my Eden heirloom roses, climbing roses, and let's show you what the finished product looks like. Aren't they just gorgeous? So that their roots would be able to grow, because I wanted to make sure I waited until after the frost. But yes, those are gonna look so gorgeous, and the card said that they get 10 feet tall, so it'll definitely be something that will be able to climb all the way up on the archway, and it's gonna be gorgeous because the flowers are pink. Okay, so as most of you know, this is the entrance to my secret garden. And look how well my heirloom Eden climbing rose is doing. Is feeding these guys, watering them. But let me turn the camera around because I want to share with you guys some things that I've started on to create that seclusion, that secret garden feel to my garden, even though my dreams are like massive. So let me turn the camera around and I'll end up showing you some of the things that have got done and then what my dream of how I want this secret garden to evolve to will end up looking like. So let me turn this around. Okay. So some of you might be thinking, Inspiring Garden Corner, how are you getting ready to make a full sun area be like a secret garden? Because as you know, with the secret garden, it is not only the intimacy that it creates, but it's about small pockets of sun coming through. So the first thing that we did, and I had mentioned it before, was we got, let me turn this around so you can see, we got the fence, the new fence. Had them in the front row here, and they ended up just taking over, and they need to be in the back of the garden because of how high they get. Now, some of the things that are the plants that I'm going to be planting back here to help create that secret garden is I'm doing some cosmos. I got some zinnias. I have some scabioses. I got some milkweed. And all of those guys will get, 36 to 48 inches. So I think that'll end up adding to the secret garden feel to it. But the major thing that we are going to be doing is I'll show a photo of the, I don't want to say arbor, but it's like a single pergola. I'll post a photo at the end. But the thought process is we've measured the area out because as you can see, it's a nice sized area, and I do have my Texas Vertex lilac that will end up getting about 6 to 8 foot tall. So what we are thinking about doing is doing sections of this pergola that I posted up. And then, like I said, I'll show you a bigger picture of it to where it is 2 sections here, a section here for when you come into the, under the arbor. And then we're gonna go another couple more feet and put another one here with the goal to allow the Texas Vertex to get the sun that it needs and then be able to grow the height that it needs to be. And then 2, that'll act as a canvas once it gets to the, I think it's 8 to 10 foot tall, because the pergola sections that we're going to be doing is not going to be that tall. It's just going to be about as tall as the arbor is. And one of the other things is I moved this little settee that I had up on my front porch because it was just a little too crowded up there with my pots and what have you. So I'm going to try to figure out where I want to position that, because then on the other side of the Texas Vertex lilac, we're going to put up, I think he said, probably 2 more sections of those arbors. And like I said, this is what I'm shooting for, this photo here. So while my garden dream of my secret garden isn't just about planting plants, we're always building something. This is a long haul. I am not looking for this to be done overnight, even though my husband says
That's how I operate. But, I want this done right, so we're going to take our time. I'm going to walk you guys through the process of what we end up getting accomplished. Now, the one thing that we are going to do is the fence. We're going to go ahead and get it stained the slate color like the rest of the fence. I'm also doing this sheet mulching behind and get that laid in the compost on it. And then the other thing that I had mentioned is the extension of the raised bed that is going to house my sunshine ligustrums and my muley grass that's here on the end, but then it's going to give me more space to be able to plant stuff. So, that's the beauty of gardening. My husband says he gives me an inch, I take a mile, but that is one of the things that I want to be able to create, so that this is more like a secret garden, because like I said, you can see the sun is hitting me dead on. But I figure by having those pergolas up here, they're going to filter a lot of that direct sun. But you know what? This is a thing. This is about sharing information, our love for gardening, and, just building those relationships. All right, good afternoon, garden friends. I am getting ready to start painting the fence. All right, guys, so you get the gist of what I'm doing. I'm not gonna sit here and record me painting. Let me go ahead and get this cut, then end up getting it sprayed on. Okay, so I have gotten the fence all the way cut between the seams. And like I said, when we used the sprayer, we were still seeing some of the cedar boards coming through on the seams. So I went in with the brush to make sure everything was covered up. Okay, guys, it's 5:30. And I ran out of paint. Just had this one last section to do, but we're gonna get another can of paint because I too wanna paint the other side. Now we actually repurposed those boards. Let me show you from when we had the tornado that came in and took the fence down. So, there were the boards that were still good. So we repurposed, reused, but this side will only we do it this way because my neighbor's driver's license plate. Yeah. See, this side, we just need to put like a new coat on, and then where he capped it off at the top. So that just looks so nice. I'm not gonna be able to get the hedges cut today, but I'll get those done tomorrow when I go ahead and finish painting the fence. So just to give you a visual, sorry about my shadow, this is the area that I'm gonna take the end of the flower bed where my boxwoods are and run it all the way down to this last muley grass and enclose it, that whole area, with the timbers. And then let's just show you back here. I don't have a lot of space that I'm gonna have, to work with let me get out the way, for the flower beds. But it's a long distance. It may be thin, but you know us gardeners will make anything fit. But I think it'll look really pretty, especially for the things that I'm going to be putting back here.
Good morning, garden friends. Today we are going to be working on this back area where I am extending my raised garden bed. All right, so he's getting the timbers laid out for us extending the raised bed here. And guys, can you see it? I'm gonna have some more planting area. Okay, it is done. We are going to next do the sheet mulching, get my sunshine ligustrums moved. But guys, look at all this room I'm going to have for more plants. I am so excited about this. But the other thing that I'm going to be doing, those last two sunshine ligustrums, and then even the two that I have here, do not seem to be growing as well as my ones that are in the backyard. And I do believe it has to do with this Georgia clay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these guys dug up, check the roots, because I'm thinking that the roots have wrapped around because the clay is so hard. And I did, when I planted them, ended up putting in additional soil and compost. But because we have to go ahead and get these guys moved out, I'm going to just take a look at it. And if that is the case where they are root bound, I'm going to cut a couple of the roots just to open it up so that I can, when I replant them, the roots will be able to get into the good soil. All right, so Kevin's going to go ahead and get the initial holes marked for where we're going to plant these, the distance. Okay. All right, so you know what? Shut up. Okay, so dig that hole. And then what we're going to do is one of the bigger ones I want to put down there because I want the two smaller ones in the center. And once you get that hole dug, we'll go ahead and put some of the soil and the compost in there. All right. So we got the sheet mulching down. I'm in the process of getting it wet. And Kevin is laying the compost mix. Oh, guys, look how much more garden space I'm going to have. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get this finished, and then I'm going to work on getting my plants planted. And that's the one good thing about with the sheet mulching, that you can go ahead and get stuff planted. The bed is all nice and filled in, and it's going to look gorgeous. So that is going to end up looking so very nice in this bed. And let's add that nice spring, summer color to my garden bed. Good morning, garden friends. Today we're going to be working up in the secret garden, getting my arbor put up so that we can create a more secluded area within the secret garden. So come along with me while we go ahead and get this mapped out. Now, one of the things that we did do was we had the line people come in and mark where lines are. Got the red there, but I don't think it's going to be impacting any part of the arbor. So I'm happy about that. All right, so what we're doing is measuring the area for where this first pergola
is going to, we're measuring for the front one so that it's not too close to the arbor. And this area will be a little bit wider. What's those measurements for this area in the front? I would think it would be the same in width-wise, but a little bit longer in length.
68 by 7 feet,
Okay.
but it's going to have a hangover on each side of a foot.
Okay, so what we're going to do is before we start digging the holes for the back area that we're going to start with, we're going to go ahead and get the Texas Vertex lilac. Some of these branches cut back so we have like sort of an idea of how it's going to end up looking. Not too bad once you get most of the gravel away. All right, so what are you doing?
I got those give or take a little bit where I want, but just to make sure, because you can get off when you're digging the bigger hole.
Yeah.
So I'm eyeballing this, where it's plenty big, bigger than the 3.5, just eyeballing it over the center. Just spray around and they'll give me a visual of what's the post hole here.
Oh, okay. It's interesting. See, he's so handy. All right, so I ended up taking the auger as Kevin was getting the holes to loosen up the soil and make this process go just a tad bit quicker. Getting the concrete set down in there. We can put the 4x4. He has the other 3 set. And make sure they were squared up. Now, the one thing he's going to have to do on this side, because it's a little higher, is lop them off so it matches this. And then right now what he's doing is he's measuring on the tail end so he knows exactly how deep he needs to set it in the hole for them to all be even. So he's getting it all mixed in. I'm just holding the post.
Bring it my way.
So he can make sure enough concrete in there, and then before it hardens up, gets it nice. All right, so Kevin's starting on the next 4 posts, getting the holes dug so he can do the concrete, get the poles set, because the ones back there are all set other than us having to snip off the tops on the ones this side because of the hill. We want to make sure that the tops are even across. Guys, we had to stop because an unmarked line cable actually got pierced, and it looks like they won't be out
until a week. Good morning, garden friends. Today is going to be a busy day today. While my Proven Winners bubblegum petunias look amazing on the top, down in the bottom, they're looking kind of raggedy. So I am going to be pulling out all of the bubblegum, the annual verbene, and get this all cleaned out so that I can start planting some of my fall flowers, like my cone flowers. I have some perennial bean in the secret garden that is taking over, that I'm going to put in place of the bubble gum. You know, as I stated, I prefer perennials, plant them once and then just accent with annuals throughout the season. So while I'm doing that, Kevin is actually working in the secret garden, finishing up framing out the pergola that we are putting inside here. So come along with us while we go ahead and get this stuff knocked out.
So what Kevin is doing is he literally measured to make sure all the boards going this direction are leveled, and if he has to cut off any excess, like I said, we knew on this side we would have to, because this part of the garden is on a slope.
And getting this cleaned out also is going to allow me to have the space for when my daffodil bulbs get here, because this is going to be lined up with daffodils. So let's go ahead and get the petunias pulled out. And I also have some bachelor buttons in here that you can't see because the Proven Winners bubblegum took over. That is the one thing that I do love about these guys. But I think for next season, I'm just gonna have a dedicated spot for them so they don't take over. It's crazy. And then too, it'll allow me to see anything that I need to get rooted out. Huh?
I said, really?
Well, down the hill.
Cool.
I even have a bachelor button hidden back here. Getting that cleaned out. I'm gonna go ahead and get the bachelor buttons trimmed up, and then I'll show you the plants that I'm going to be putting in here. And then I'll go ahead and get those in the ground.
All right, so I got the bed all cleaned out of the yes, and now I have it laid out for the perennials that I'm putting in here, and then I did get some annuals. I dug up the one perennial verbena and put it here. I thought I was going to be able to do it the whole length, but I'm trying to avoid it being really congested. So I'm going to find someplace else to put those other ones that I have. But I have These guys here, which are black-eyed Susans, different version, they are called Amarilla Gold. They get 12 to 18 inches in height and also in width. So I think those are gonna look really pretty here. And then I love these. These are called Joseph coats. I have them in the backyard and they're doing really well. They get 6 to 12 inches in height and also in width. And then they get these little flowers on them. Hold on, let me focus. They get little flowers on them, and then the leaves will change to a burgundy color. So let me go ahead and get all of these guys into the ground. The one thing that I am going to be doing is the biotone, but I'm also mixing a little manure in the soil. All right, so everything is planted, you know, and with any new plants, it looks sparingly, but because especially the black-eyed Susies get 12 to 18 inches wide, that's gonna fill in really nicely. And like I said, I am not going to put any mulch down until I get my bulbs in here. Okay, so Kevin has the framework for the arbor put up, and now he's going to be adding the tops to it. And as you can see, I changed my mind about the tree. We're going to actually keep it nice and short so that you can end up seeing the arbor all the way through. And then the other thing that I'm going to be doing to add additional seclusion is on each side of the post. I have I think it's called pink mink clematis, that because this side of the arbor gets more of the sun for the longer period of time, I'm going to be planting them at each of the posts for it to climb up over top of the arbor. So I think that's going to look really nice. So he's just getting the measurements for the top pieces of the pergola. Oh, this is turning out so nice. Putting the boards in, attaching them, and then the excess on that end, once he gets it all attached, will get cut off at a 45-degree angle to match this side. Can you guys see it? This is gonna look so nice. And then, like I said, the clematis, the pink mink clematis that I'm gonna be planting there on all 4 posts for it to climb up, that is going to look so gorgeous. He's so meticulous about what he does. He has a 2x4 that he marked the spacing to make sure that the boards was evenly spaced. Just the detail that he puts into when he's creating stuff for wood. I'm just so impressed. All right, look how nice that looks. I'm so excited. Let's just go on in here. Now he has the first boards across, and then we have the smaller ones that'll be going on But look how nice that looks. And yes, I think we made the right decision in keeping the Texas Vertex short, but I probably will cut it down even smaller. All right, so he is getting the top layer of the slats put on. Now, what's that 2x4 there for?
Stop. These have the 45s on them, so it gives me a stop so that when I lay them down, I butt them up against there so they don't go like this. They're all straight line.
Nice, nice. This is coming out so nice. And see, guys, what I wanted was to limit the direct sun coming in here. So this is looking really nice. Now, once he gets done putting the second crossboards on, he made a template to make me some decorative support. What do you want to call those? Support what?
They're cross support.
Cross supports. And what that'll end up doing is tying it in to alleviate any ricking or swaying of the arbor. So those will end up looking really, really nice. All right, guys, let's go on up to the secret garden to see the progress that we have made on the arbor in the secret garden. I had to change my shirt because I was filthy from working in the garden bed. I am so happy with how it turned out. So let me turn the camera around so you can see it. Okay. Doesn't that look nice? I just think it adds to the secret garden of having this here. He still has to do the cutouts for the decorative support pieces in here. And then, as I stated, along each of the posts all the way down, I will be putting my pink mink clematis to grow up the arbor and what have you. And I think that's going to end up being very pretty. Now, while he is going to be cutting out the decorative support beams that is going to go all the way around on all four corners of here, I'm going to be working over in this bed. The other thing that we are entertaining is where my arch is. Because this is on a hill, Kevin wants to relay this out, the archway. And we are thinking we're going to keep the boxes, but move them out to where the opening for the archway lines up with this, you know, with this area. And it'll make it a little bit wider. But the other thing is we're also entertaining taking this arch off and building another arch with the timbers to sort of to mimic this. And like I said, once he puts up the decorative, it'll still have the curvature to it. Give me your thoughts on whether or not I should let this treated wood age, whether painting it the color of our home, that light gray, or should we paint it? So let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Now, as I showed you in the beginning, the steps that we took to create this, it turned out so amazing. I so love the archway that Kevin ended up building gives that nice soft edge to the arbor. The other thing that we ended up doing was our Texas Vertex lilac. We are going to keep it as more of a shrub. Just keep it clipped down because I love to be able to see the archway all the way through. And as we go through the garden, I'm still doing some rearranging and cleanup. It's just a nice accent to the garden. As I stated, I ended up having a vision of this. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is rebuilding the archway there that has my Eden climbing rose. We're gonna build bigger boxes and then make the opening wider and make it out of the timbers so that it mimics when you come into the secret garden. And you know, that's the thing about gardening. Different things inspire you. The archway of the initial arbor was my inspiration, along with things that I ended up seeing off of Pinterest. Another thing I ended up doing was I got 4 pink mink clematis at each of the posts going down this side of the arbor. It ends up climbing 10 to 15 feet tall, and I think it'll look gorgeous on all 4 posts, climbing up to also add more seclusion into the secret garden. But everything else is looking good. You know, I ended up, trimming back my daylilies. My irises, my yellow flag irises, my garro, just cleaning up some things before I start with my truly fall planting. My maiden grass, I so love it. We had to tie it up because it just got so big. And this is only 1 season for this guy. So it's doing really well. But everything is looking good. I so love the combination of the black-eyed Susans and the perennial verbena. I got some garro in here, and it just looks so lush back here in the garden. And I so love it. All right, Kevin's getting the lights up. I got 2 packs, but the 1 pack for the front one, they sent us the wrong ones, so they weren't matching. So I'm gonna send those back and get some new ones. This is gonna look so nice when it gets a little darker. Good afternoon, garden friends. Today we're going to be working on taking down and the boxes, get those moved to the back because Kevin has created 2 new boxes and going to build the archway to be more in line with the arbor that we have created in the secret garden. But first thing that we're going to need to do is cut down some of the branches off of the Eden climbing rose. I'm going to propagate some of those because when we move this to the back garden, I'm propagating them so I can have another climbing rose in the backyard, repurposing, reusing, this arbor back there. So let's first go and get the branches cut back so we can go ahead and take the archway off and then get the boxes moved
the new boxes set in, and then that way I can fill them up with dirt and then move the roses directly into their new location. So come along with us while we go ahead and get this knocked out. Just go ahead and cut those, and I think it'll make it a whole lot easier for us to maneuver with the arbor, and then it'll make it a lot easier to go ahead and get these guys moved. All right, so as you can see, we got it cut down, and these guys are really hardy, so I'm not worried about it. And the timing for us getting these guys replanted, it's not going to end up impacting these guys none whatsoever. So now he's going to go ahead and get the arbor taken loose so that we can then move the boxes out while the roses are still intact. All right, so we got the arbor off. It was relatively easy. Off of how we went ahead and cut the rose bush down. All right, so Kevin got the first box and put it here. And one of the things that we are dealing with, as you guys know, our garden is on a slope. So we're trying, so we are trying to make sure aesthetically the boxes line up. So we're trying something new in regards to lining up the boxes. And, you know, one of the things that we planned on doing is running the retaining wall that we're actually going to end up continuing down the whole length. But we're going to try to see if that will assist us in having the boxes look aesthetically even over here. Now, this is the other thing. As I had stated, I thought we were going to be able to move the boxes and leave the roses in there. But, guys, those roots were so deep, you know, so we had to move them over into a pot. And even with this being done yesterday, as you can see, the roses are no shock to them whatsoever. I will stand by that when you dig up a plant and get it back into the soil, that shock to them is minimal. So we ended up also getting dirt to where we can go ahead and get these guys planted once the boxes are all set. So, okay, this is coming along very, very nicely. Had to improvise, but like I said, we're going to continue the retaining wall down the whole length of here. But yeah, this is looking so good. I think it completes it, while the other arbor fitted its purpose. This is just going to tie it all together because he's doing the same layout for the entranceway like it is in the back. That to help elevate and give that more uniform look. But this is coming along so nicely. I am so fortunate to be able to have a husband that can execute my vision of what I want my garden to look like. So we will keep you posted as we continue to finish the entranceway into the secret garden. Oh, it's looking so good. I am so glad we decided
to continue this out here. He got crossboards tied in. He's now working on the 2 layers to help block some of the sun, but this is looking good. And then he's gonna get the lattice put up on both sides. And then we're gonna go ahead and get these roses planted, and then this will be completely done. Oh, I love it. The following weekend. Good morning, garden friends. It's a start to a new day. We have gotten majority of the entrance arbor completed. Kevin is actually working on doing the framework for the lattice so that my Eden climbing rose has something to climb up and go over the new archway. Okay, so I got the compost and manure in the wheelbarrow. I want to give it a nice mix because I don't want like straight manure being on or close to the roots. Trying to make sure I have this angled correctly so that when he puts the lattice up, it's definitely going to be supporting the branches. And then look at the roses. My Eden climbing rose doing really well. And I love that punch of that light purple in there because those roses are a soft pink with a white center. So I'm just loving how this secret garden is looking. And I can't wait until everything starts to bloom. And look at all of the roses I have on my Eden climber. All right, garden friends, I am so happy to be able to share with you our 2-year secret garden journey. It has been amazing to be able to envision what I wanted this area to look like and then to have Kevin be able to execute it. We hope that you have enjoyed seeing this transformation. I so appreciate the support. Those of you that have been with me from inception, thank you. Those of you who view my channel, if you enjoy my content, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. I so appreciate it. And I look forward to your continued contributions and comments and support as I go through this garden journey.